Hey everybody, this is Mumbaidoug. Needing a haircut really bad. I know my hair is very short, but when it gets any longer than this, or when it gets this long, it starts getting curly. And as much as my mom likes me to have curly hair, I'm 35. She's been saying that for 35 years, to let my hair be curly. I like it to be straight, and the only way to make it look straight is if it's very short. So I just noticed that when I was looking at myself a minute ago. Anyway, I thought tonight I would make a video and pose a question. Well, I'll share a little bit about myself and pose a question. You notice my screen name is Mumbaidoug, and Mumbai, in case anybody isn't familiar with it, is the new name for the city of Bombay in India. And you might ask, well, what does that have to do with you, Doug? You live in South Carolina. And I do, but I had the opportunity to spend 6 months in Mumbai, India in 2005, from June of 2005 through December of 2005. So I guess about 6.5 months. And what I took from, I was there for work, first of all, so it was kind of a different experience as opposed to being a tourist, but the experience nonetheless was amazing and so vastly different than American culture. And gosh, I'm sorry I'm so antsy. I'm moving all in front of the camera and everything. I'm sitting in my pajamas and this hoodie thing. Anyway, the question I wanted to pose was, where have you traveled to that was so vastly different from where you live now? And, it could be something as simple as you live up north and you've traveled to the south, and having moved from the north to the south, and I've lived here for about 12, almost 13 years, but having made that move, I know that it's a huge cultural difference. And of course, being in India, which is for the most part a third world country, I was in the big city of Mumbai, but even so, it's very much a different country than the U.S. Where have you been that was so vastly different than the place where you live now, or the place where you're used to being, or maybe grew up? And what made it different? And different doesn't necessarily have to be, worse than where you live now. Could be, what did you like about the place where you were able to visit? What did you not like about it? What cultural differences would you wish that your community could adopt, maybe? What things maybe did you notice in another culture that you absolutely despised and couldn't understand how it happened? And just to share a couple of the things from my experience in India, and I could go on and on and on and on about India, believe me. Having spent 6 months there, I came back with a lot to say, and I'm sure everybody that knows me, for the first 6 months I was home, was tired of me starting every sentence with, oh, in India, because I'm sure that got old, and I still catch myself doing that, but going to a place like that for so long was life-changing, so it's kind of hard to get out of your system. But what I would say about my experience is, from nearly the moment I stepped off the plane in Bombay in the middle of the night by myself, I realized that I was in a vastly different place, and the sights, the smells, being the only white person around in a sea of millions was an awesome experience. Even the car ride that the hotel came and picked me up at the airport, they had one of those little signs with my name on it, thankfully, because it was very intimidating walking out of the airport doors. Even the car ride from the airport to the hotel was just surreal. Driving by hundreds upon hundreds of and again, this was the middle of the night, 2 or 3 in the morning, people, hundreds of them, lining the streets, sleeping. You have 2 or 3 foot concrete medians in the middle of the street, and people are just sound asleep on those medians as cars zoom by in either direction. And it's not just adults, it's also babies, toddlers, children, asleep or playing on that median all through the day and night. To the animals that are wandering the streets, cows in a city street is, kind of a surreal thing. I probably will make some more videos about this because I can see, as I'm conjuring up more thoughts, I can see that my memories come back and I want to talk more about it. But my first thought upon arriving to India was, shock. I'd been flying for 30 hours, and so some of the shock and everything probably had to do with just sleeplessness and jet lag. But I woke up the next day and really felt like I was in a different world, not just a different country. Again, it goes back to the sights, the smells, just everything felt different. And I'd love to share more about that. But my question to you is, what experiences have you had in your travels, whether they be here in the U.S., maybe within your own state, or especially those that were outside of the country, that were so different than where you live now, that you'd like to share? And I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I'll probably make more videos about my experience in India. If they're received well. If they're not, I'll stop and talk about something else. So respond, comment, let me know if you have questions about my experiences, and I'll speak specifically to those. Thanks. See you later.